Camera lights hit hard. The crowd goes silent. Greg Gutfeld leans forward, locks eyes with the camera, and says 6 chilling words. Tonight, truth has no mercy left. Boom. 6 words, and the entire studio freezes. Hillary Clinton's face tightens. The audience gasps. No one blinks. And in that split second, everyone knows, something massive is about to explode. It's a regular evening on Fox News, the set glowing, the crew focused, the audience ready. But Greg, he isn't in the mood for safe conversations. Tonight feels different, heavy, dangerous. His producer leans close and whispers, "Greg, you sure about this? Once you say it, there's no going back." Greg doesn't flinch. He gives a slight grin. If not now, when? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, cameras roll. The screen lights up. Behind Greg appears the image of Hillary Clinton, confident, polished, untouchable. For decades she's ruled headlines, built power, and perfected silence. But tonight, that silence is about to break, live, raw, and unstoppable. Greg begins calm, conversational. He talks about politics, leadership, the usual game of power and promises. The audience leans in, expecting another smart, funny segment. But then Greg pauses. His tone drops. His eyes sharpen. He reaches under his desk and pulls out a brown folder, thick, heavy, and sealed. He places it gently on the table and says, "These are documents the world was never supposed to see." For a moment, time stops. The studio audience holds its breath. Even the camera operator hesitates. Somewhere in New York, Hillary's media team watches from her office, confusion turning to panic. Her assistant yells, "Turn it off. Now, end the feed." But it's too late. Greg opens the folder slowly, page after page of hidden emails, meeting logs, and confidential letters. He doesn't just read facts. He connects them, piece by piece, thread by thread, until the picture starts to form, a picture no one can unsee. He reveals the story of quiet meetings, secret agreements, and names long buried under national security. He speaks with clarity, not anger, not arrogance, just the steady voice of a man holding truth too long in silence. Phones start buzzing across the country. Twitter explodes. Hashtags light up. Hashtag Hillary exposed. Hashtag Gutfeld truth bomb. Hashtag live TV meltdown. Greg takes a breath, looks back at the camera, and says, "Power without accountability is just corruption wearing a suit." Boom. The audience gasps again. Even his company hosts glance at him in shock. And then, the unthinkable happens. A voice breaks through the studio speakers. It's Hillary. She's calling live. Her voice trembles, but she tries to keep control. "Greg," she says sharply, "you're playing with fire. You have no idea what you're doing." Greg leans back in his chair. Calm, collected. "Maybe," he replies. "But fire reveals the truth, doesn't it?" The studio goes silent. You can hear a pin drop. For the next 10 minutes, America watches a verbal war unlike anything ever seen on live television. Hillary defends, Greg confronts. She blames politics, media bias, and endless attacks. He counters with documents, timelines, and facts, each one cutting deeper. Every sentence feels heavier than the last. Viewers are frozen to their screens. Comments flood social media. Finally, someone's saying it. This is history in the making. Hillary looks scared. Even her most loyal supporters sit in stunned silence. Some look betrayed, others angry, many speechless. And then something unexpected happens. Hillary's tone shifts. Her voice cracks. She whispers, "You think I wanted this life? You think power doesn't come with scars?" For a moment, the entire studio changes. The woman the world saw as cold, untouchable, now sounds human. Broken, tired. Greg pauses. He doesn't attack. He doesn't mock. He simply looks down, then says quietly, "Maybe you didn't choose the darkness, Hillary, but you stopped fighting it." The air is heavy, the tension electric. Millions of people feel that line hit straight through the screen. Because suddenly, it's not about politics anymore. It's about everyone who's ever hidden behind lies. Everyone who's let ambition kill their honesty. Everyone who's looked away when truth demanded courage. Greg continues, his voice steady but emotional. "For years, He says, we've watched power pretend to protect us. But power doesn't protect, it controls. And when truth becomes a threat, you know the system's already broken. He lets those words hang in the air. The show moves toward its end. Hillary is silent. The line goes dead. The audience doesn't cheer. They just sit, stunned, thoughtful, processing what they just witnessed. Greg looks into the camera one last time. His final words echo like thunder. Truth doesn't destroy, it cleanses. If you fear it, it owns you. If you face it, you're free. The screen fades to black. The credits roll. But outside that studio, the world is on fire. The next morning, headlines scream. Live meltdown. Gutfeld versus Clinton. Shockwaves across Washington. Truth bomb shakes the establishment. People start asking questions again. Coffee shops, online forums, TV panels, everyone's talking. For the first time in a long time, citizens feel like truth actually punched through the noise. Some call Greg a hero. Others call him reckless. But one thing is clear, the illusion of untouchable power just cracked. Days later, Greg sits for an interview. The host asks, "Why'd you do it? You knew it would cost you." Greg smiles softly. "I didn't do it to humiliate her," he says. "I did it to remind everyone that no one, not even the powerful, stands above truth." That line goes viral. It becomes a quote, a meme, a movement. People begin sharing their own stories, about lies they exposed, truths they faced, and battles they fought to stay honest. Greg's moment on live TV becomes more than a scandal, it becomes a spark. Because that's the thing about truth. You can bury it, mock it, hide it, but it doesn't die. It waits. And when it comes back louder, brighter, and unstoppable. Power fades, lies collapse, but truth always finds its moment. If you believe truth still matters, like this video. If you believe courage still counts, comment your thoughts below. And if you want to hear more real stories that others are afraid to tell, subscribe right now. Because remember, truth doesn't whisper, it roars. Fire.